When I was at Crippled Children's Hospital and School, or CRIPS in Sioux Falls, um, we actually participated in some of the winter fun going around and things like that. A number of times, snowmobile clubs uh, would come around and bring their snowmobiles. At the time, uh, the school didn't take up the whole block that we were on, not nearly as much as it does now, and there weren't any real obstructions. So you actually could drive a snowmobile all the way from the around the front of the school, back around, and there was a pretty good sized block back behind there, and it was actually a lot of fun. They actually let the older kids, like myself at the time, drive the snowmobiles by ourselves, and really a lot of fun. We used to also go sledding behind the school. I remember Henry, who I mentioned before as a scout leader. Uh, we had some saucer sleds, and he would go slinging one around on a rope and whip you down the hill and stuff. And we really had a good time climbing back up the hill on your hands and knees. Uh, was a bit of a challenge, but we did it, and it was a lot of fun. I also remember when I was in Boy Scouts, we went camping at the Boy Scout camp in Newton Hills during the winter, and there was this big kind of clubhouse there that we had as part of it. We were the group that got to use the house to stay there. It wasn't really heated. There wasn't central heat. There was a number of fireplaces and wood stoves, and we did stoke those up and stuff. And I remember it was kind of an interesting thing. One of the scouts, Norris, and he, for some reason, we were all responsible for our own kits, sleeping bags and stuff, and he hadn't brought his sleeping bag, and one of the scout leaders said to him, "Norris, you're going to freeze your balls off," and he said, "No, I won't. I got my gloves on." And we really had a blast. We cooked our meals and did everything, and I remember trying to go hiking on out in the snow and stuff. With crutches and braces on the snow, that really isn't a lot of fun. We didn't get very far before we had to turn around because we were going so slow, and plus slipping and sliding all over the place and things like that. And then getting back into the clubhouse was kind of interesting too, because it was up a pretty good hill, and even the school station wagon with studded snow tires had a real problem getting back up there, particularly during the day when it got warmer and the ice was kind of melting and things like that. So another thing that we did, which I'm not going to say was extremely intelligent, Henry would take us out on the lake, on Lake Alvin for one, in the school station wagon, driving around on the ice, car loaded up with handicapped children, sliding all over the place. We had a great time. We thought it was a blast. Honestly, it was not very smart to do and stuff, but there was no harm, no foul. We also went up to the lake by the school had a property on Lake Brant up near Chester, and we went out there, and it was kind of funny because Henry was from New York, so he wasn't really familiar with the way things are in South Dakota. And we managed to get out there but the road out that went out there was not an improved road, and it was not a maintained road. And there was tracks on there, so we thought it was okay to go. And we made it out there, but when he tried to turn around and come back, we ran into a lot of trouble. He ended up breaking the jack, trying to get us out, and we got mostly out, but when you got right at the place where you had to turn out of the camping area onto what there was of the road, you had to kind of turn and go uphill at the same time. And he just buried the car in there, and there was no way we were getting out of there. And so finally, he walked to the nearest farm, which is about a half a mile away through the snow and stuff, and it was kind of interesting because we were low on gas at the time, actually, by the time we were trying to get out, so we couldn't just run the car. So we had a kind of a cold wait, and finally he came back with a farmer who, with his tractor, and he just latched onto the car and, of course, dragged it right out of there with no problem. And I remember Henry was trying to give the farmer a payment or something, and give him $20 or something, and the farmer's like, no, 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 don't worry about it at all. You see me walking down the road sometime, stop and give me a ride. And that's how people in South Dakota are. And it was kind of funny because when he got back to the school, then they sent a really nice letter to the farmer and included a check. And the farmer, for like $75 or something like that. And the farmer sent the check back and said, no, you don't need to be sending me any money or anything. Just if you see me walking down the road sometime, I was happy to do it. So we had some fun at Crippled Children's during the winter too.